Shout out to PIC TV Network. Check them out. Black owned and operated. Let's support each other. I'm Zeke with the Universal Circus. I'll be tuning in.
Hey everybody, this is David Evans from the PIC TV Network News. We have a special presentation tonight we want to bring to the world. Our hearts are hurt and broken because of the sadness of so many people who lost their lives on the past couple of days, and we decided to come to share our prayers, our condolences to the families who lost loved ones in the Travis Scott concert. I invited Patty from New York to come on with me tonight, and also Michelle Cox. We have covered so many news topics on PIC TV Network, but tonight is a special topic that we wanted to talk about this situation that happened. You know, a lot of times when we look at the world news, we think about things that happens overseas. But Michelle, this is really one that hurts. Me and you and Patty was saying it's one of those tough news reports. We have to do it and talk about it. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Michelle. You in Atlanta, I'm in Washington D.C., and Patty's in New York. But we all feel the same hurt.
All right, Dr. Evans. Good evening, Patty. Always a pleasure to be here with you. The Travis Scott tragedies. Let's think about it. Now, this is supposed to be a 2-day concert event, and it had been scheduled for 50,000 people to attend, which is manageable for most concerts. Because if you think about a football game, you have about 100,000 people in attendance with a full stadium. The other part of this is everybody's now, who are we blaming? Well, let's look at a series of events. We had, and they're estimating that people were breaking into the concert. So there were more than the 50,000 people that were allotted. There were people that were actually sneaking in and causing some of this mayhem. Some of this we have to look at. The other part of it is should they stop the concert? Well, what if they had to stop the concert and then the people got mad and started rioting? Those are other things that you have to look at, because I've been on the other end of promoting shows and getting shows done. And we always want to make sure that we take care of people, but some of the responsibility and accountability are the people themselves. Now, if you go to concerts like in Japan or in China, they actually walk in very orderly, single file. They get to their seats, they're quiet, concert starts, and then the performers leave, and then they go out in single file. We don't do that here. Why? Again, it's because in the United States, we have so many personal liberties. And there's nothing wrong with personal liberties, but with personal liberties come accountability and responsibility. So 50,000 people were supposed to go to the concert. They think a surge came up, 200,000, even before the concert started. And then the people in the back wanted to come to the front. And that's when the trampling started. Well, I know at concerts, and I've been to many, you get assigned seats. So what is happening that people are not being considerate of one another? That's part of what we have to look at. Patricia, to you, what do you think?
Well, thank you, Michelle, for pointing out those facts. And I also think that they just didn't have the right numbers of production team. in play. Besides that, there was a surge coming in, and I guess we will never know if they had shut it down prior. Would that riot effect happen anyway? I guess we don't know that, but it seems like there wasn't enough people to be hands on to begin with. Even with the surge, even if it was, let's just say it was just 50,000, it doesn't seem like they had enough people to put on the production to begin with. And knowing the history, because history happened already, so we could go by those facts, that it seemed to be a repetitive situation and that was already been made aware of. There's been already lawsuits because of people being injured at the same concerts that he held with the same things happening. And, there should have been preparedness. And I really, this is now just my opinion, but I'm surprised that he didn't go on social in between the shows or even during the show just to make an announcement and put a stop to the concert and just make an announcement to all his fans that this is not, the right way to do it. Um, so it just was like that part was upsetting to me. But when I did see him go on air, he did seem sincerely upset about it, but again, a day late and a dollar short. So it's just really unfortunate. And again, another question, Michelle, is how about all the, not to talk about the vaccinated stuff, but you know, at this point, where are all the people checking to see if people are vaccinated? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's all those people, before they even come into a building?
Well, let's talk about that part because you're talking about young people, and we know the majority of the people that are unvaccinated are younger people. And so part of that, them being younger, they're not heeding the protocols. Here's a lot of things that are going on, and let's put COVID in the mix and everything else. Because of COVID, people are also starved to get out and go to have entertainment. And when we talk about that in a mix of young people don't always use the best judgment. I said it. I'm just going to put it out there. They don't. Because while Travis Scott and Astro World are basically at fault, they're going to be because they held the concert. We have to think about their football games. The Georgia football games are down the street from me, and I see people going up and down every weekend that we have games here. We've never had a riot at a football concert. We've never had this type of incident at a football concert or at a football game. So what's the difference? If they can maintain that at NFL games and college games where they have almost double the attendance and 200,000 or 300,000 people tailgating, why is it this concert or a series of concerts where people forget how to have good manners? Because for me, it still comes down to personal responsibility. And the part of personal responsibility is if you guys are going in a calm manner, these things don't happen. But when people are trying to rush the stage, these are the things that happen. So the onus also are on the people that were rushing the stage and trying to push to the front, even though they had tickets that say they should be to the back. I think that's some of the things that we need to look at. Dr. Evans, back to you.
When I think about this situation, my heart goes out to the families. I just can't imagine, Patty, you have a daughter, and Michelle, you have grandkids. You can't imagine. I think the youngest one was 10 or 12 years old, sending them to a party and not coming home anymore. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, Patty. It breaks my heart because you go to, you're in New York, and Pat and Michelle's down in Atlanta, and I'm in Washington, D.C. I was at the Wizards game on Friday night. It was about 20,000 people there, mostly adults, but nobody bombarded nothing. They had security, heavy security. You know, when you came in through the gates, you had to show your ID and your phone and all the information. And there were polices and there were people in place. Then this was inside, 20,000 people. This was Friday night. And I think, as you stated, Michelle, once they in the daytime started rushing the gate and bombarding the gates, that should have been enough, you know, to say, hold up, this is people are in here. They could have had anything. It could have been a bomb or anything could have been in there with them, you know. And when we look at COVID, sad to say, it would have prevented them many people coming in. It would have prevented those folk from jumping in like that. And we still have to do like we've been talking about American health crisis to make sure that there's health checks. My son is in California. He said you can't come in the games out there and you show your vaccination cards. Are we out of control, Michelle? Are we out of control? Answer that.
Well, are we out of control? Not us on the panel, but are young people out of control? Yes. Are we out of control as a society? Some of the answers to that is yes, because the thing about it is we have our own personal civil liberties. And what happens is we don't take accountability for things. You got to think about it. If we're accountable, then these things don't happen. If you're, as we used to say, being good for goodness sake or following the golden rule, when you love yourself, you don't trample others to go to the same place that everybody else is going. It's the same reason when you see car accidents, and lots of car accidents or a pileup, people following too close, people not following the rules. Basic rules stop these things from happening, but that means everybody has to be accountable. It's just like the guy or the person that's got this Maserati or whatever fast car, and he's zooming through the lanes and causes an accident. And then once the accident is there, well, I'm sorry. But had they been following the speed limit, paying attention, and being considerate, these things don't happen. So while we can say that Travis Scott and Astroworld will be at fault, some of the onus goes on personal responsibility. And the fact that because of COVID, a lot of people feel like they're deprived. We're not deprived. If you've got life, if you got breath, you're not deprived. And that feeling of deprivation, along with what we call COVID mental illness, is fueling some of this. But I'm not going to put it just on the promoters. I'm going to put it on all those people that felt that they needed to trample others to get close to the stage. Patty, I'm going to send that over to you.
And I agree. Like, you know, I can't imagine like just the idea of just thinking it's okay to walk over somebody, even if I was being shoved. I feel like, you know, like try to stop and alert other people, like to help those people on the floor up. It just doesn't make sense to me. But again, it goes back to maturity, and you know, young people, they just don't know any better, and you know, it doesn't make it right. But a big thing has to do with, you know, age appropriate, you know. And if I feel like adults would know better, and I'm not saying there weren't adult people there too. Some of the people that were killed were adults. They were young adults. But a lot of it has to do with that young mindset, and they're just like following each other, mimicking each other, and everybody's stampeding and instead of thinking for yourself and doing the right thing. You know, I just can't imagine thinking it's okay just to walk over somebody. I just can't imagine it, because that's what happens in a stampede. People fall and people are walking over people, not just shoving and pushing. They're actually stepping on people, which is crazy to me. It's crazy. But you know, I'm going back to, this is history repeating itself. So that's the upsetting part for me. Like, Where's the preparedness? You know, like if you have a hurricane and you flood, you know, well, next time you're going to do precautions and preparedness. So if there's already a history of this happening with this particular band and group, why not take precautions? You know what I'm saying? So I feel bad to get upset with them, but you know, again, preparedness, there's a lot to be said for that.
Well, let's talk about this. Now, there have been concerts over the years, not just Travis Scott, but other concerts where people have gotten trampled. But this so far is one of the deadliest. What we have to think of is we have to see all the information in the big picture. One thing I know about concerts and about people that promote, we all know that unless you have 50,000 people watching 50,000 people, it's going to get out of hand. When you have a concert, usually you have about 500 people that are there to help out. But 500 people still can't manage 50, and they can't manage 200,000 people. That's when you, as a civil person, comes in and you are doing the things that you're supposed to do to be accountable. Even the ticket says, your ticket stubs say, you know, you agree to follow the guidelines and the rules to make sure that everybody's safe. Well, if you got people that are bombarding, rushing, and then you got people that are literally pushing themselves into a concert that they didn't pay for, this is part of some of the mayhem.
Yeah.
Again, what do you do as a promoter? Because let's not only look at the person side, but let's look at the promoter side. It's like, okay, we're out of hand. We call the police. The police come. A riot starts. You're still going to have some issues. You're still going to have some deaths because anything can
But
happen.
then it changes. But then if a riot happens, now the liability changes hands. You know what I'm saying?
It does not. It really does not. Because they promoted a concert. If there's a riot, they still have a liability because they promoted the concert. So either way, their hands are tied at this point. And that's the part that you have to look at.
Michelle and Patty, we're coming through a pandemic. It's not totally over.
It is not over.
Patty and Michelle and all of the people watching over the world, we've seen these riots take place. And not saying that that'll happen down in Houston, but we know certain people, and you said it before, Michelle, when something like big like that, certain people in the crowd just come to cause a fuse to set a bomb off, just like down at the riots in D.C. and the ones that when George Floyd, it was a lot of peaceful people there. There was a lot of peaceful people there, Patty. There was kids who didn't go there to get hurt. And there was family members who didn't go to that concert to get hurt. They just went there, just like when I was downtown, the George Floyd. There was people planning, and you know that, Michelle. There's planning people like in Atlanta. It wasn't, especially us, and I mean nice people. I'm not just talking color, but there were certain people planning for that. What do you say to that, Michelle?
Well, you're always going to have what we call agent provocateurs. They're going to be people that, and there were pictures, because you can go on the Urban League site and a couple of other NAACP. They'll show you pictures of people that were actively trying to bust out windows, but they weren't black. They had on masks, and they were trying to make people think that black people were trying to riot during the protest, but it actually wasn't factual, because this puts a negative light on the people that are trying to do peaceful protest. Well, the same thing with concert goers. If you have rabble rousers that come in that didn't pay for a ticket, they're like, oh, let's rush the gate. What happens when you've planned and 50,000 people have paid, but 200,000 people try to get in? Whose fault is that at that point? You cannot blame that on the people that put on the concert. You just can't, because that's not realistic. Because the people that paid should be able to get in. But if people come and storm the concert, what can you do besides call out the National Guard? And you're still talking about literally they had an estimate of 50,000. When the first trampling happened through the gate, they literally are counting that they probably had 100 to 200,000 people rushing the gate. Now, Travis Scott and the promoters could say, hey, we've got all these people that aren't supposed to be here, unauthorized. We're not going to have the concert. Then what happens when you got 150 people that are angry and the other 50,000 people that paid? What happens? And then let's say they did stop it and the police come in to try to disperse the crowd. Fights break out. Riots break out. Are they and they still will be literally at fault for this because they set up the concert. We have to think bigger, and what we have to think bigger is we have to teach our children how to make sure they make good decisions, even as young people. And we're talking about from 17 all the way to 25. And let's talk about the male brain at that point. The male brain from 12 to 25, the prefrontal cortex is small. They make impulsive and rash decisions. Because if you look at a lot of people that are getting trampled, there were a lot of guys trampling over people. And there were a lot of them were men. Look at the videos for yourself. The problem is we have to become a society where people have to be accountable. Whether it's at a concert, whether it's at a football game, whether it's at a basketball game, it doesn't matter. We have to get back to accountability. And we had a past president that says, I don't have to be accountable. And that lawlessness is going over. Now, I don't care anybody. If you want to come at me for that, I mean what I say. Anytime you have a president or past president that believes he is above the law, you're going to have people that follow him above that. And that's part of what's going on today.
And
all right?
You're 100% right. And I want to ask Patty from New York, and folks, you're watching the PIC TV Network special presentation, our news presentation from Washington, D.C. Patty is from New York. Michelle Cox is from Atlanta, Georgia. We cover so many topics. This is one of the hardest ones we have covered this year. Patty, have you ever been to a concert where there was a sea of people around you? So far, you've seen nothing but people. And I wanted to ask you the second part of this question, Patty, is you have a daughter. I can't imagine you getting that call, Patty. I can't imagine. Talk about it, Patty.
Me too. You know, my heart is hurting for those families too, because, you know, they went out to this concert to have a good time, you know, and again, they're kids, they're young, they're teenagers, 12, 14, even 22, even 27. Hey, listen, anybody that gets killed under those circumstances, it's a horror, but a child just makes it even that much worse. And I can't imagine, you know, being the moms to the people who have lost their teenagers when they were supposed to go out to have a good time, especially coming out of such a terrible last year and a half with COVID. It's just really, really hard to swallow. And my heart goes out. My heart goes out. And another thing is now this is really going to be like a ripple effect, because imagine all those people, how they must be feeling. You can't convince me that a good few hundred have to feel guilt, you know, just because they were there. And then the mindset is going to harm them, you know, because they're young. And the idea that because they did this, now people are dead, you know, and now it's going to be like that. It's just it's a cycle. It's a cycle. And it's just a vicious cycle. And I'm just feeling heavy hearted for everybody. I really am. I mean, especially the family and parents of those teenagers, but it's just a vicious cycle. The whole event is a vicious cycle. And I'm happy that they canceled the Vegas just to show respect. You know, I'm glad they did the right thing, and that they're going to give their money back. You know, I really believe that Scott Travis feels bad You know, but again, what do I know? But it just seemed like he really was heavy-hearted about it too.
Yeah, and no musician, no singer, whether it's Beyonce or Kanye West or any of the singers ever expect anything like that or want that. They didn't enter into their career to see kids and people get killed. They're not about that. But I go back to what Michelle said too. When it was daylight when they bombarded the gate, the concert started that night. So when those people who were perpetrating and coming in, that should have been the first sign of something popping off or may pop off. That's a red flag. Even when people storm the gate, just like storming the Capitol, Michelle. That's something that you had to fix before it get there. And they planned that. They planned it. And I don't know, Michelle, that some people may have in their mind, I'm gonna bust the gates, man, and running over kids just to get in. We saw it. I got it. We seen it. We ran the tape, and it kept going on and on. So it was out of control before it even started, Michelle.
Well, not only was it out of control before it started, this is the thing. Now, they let them in early because they usually open up the gates early for crowd control. Expecting the 50,000, they want to do the social distance. But when they had the swell, did anybody tell Travis Scott that there was a swell? Did anybody tell the performers? Because you got to remember, the performers aren't at the gate when the people come in. The performers are normally in their hotels, and they don't get to the concert until about 20 minutes right before. I know. I drove Roberta Flack, Glenn Campbell, and several other stars. And usually they come in the back, and they don't see what's going on at the gate. Were they informed of what happened earlier in the day? That's the number one question. All right. So they got the crowd under control, but here the concert is, and then they've got all these extra people pushing to the stage. I went to the Beyonce concert. This is years ago. Actually, Alicia Keys. No one tried to rush the stage because we were all people of a certain age. I've been to other concerts, Beyonce's concert. You've never, and she was here at it was the Georgia Dome, and now it's Mercedes-Benz. Literally holds 120,000 people. No one tried to rush her stage. What's the difference? The level of respect. If there's a level of respect and a level of accountability, nobody's rushing the stage. These young people that broke in started this mayhem. They need to, number one, investigate this fully. Number two, see the perpetrators. I feel bad for the families that have people that lost lives. But for me, and if this was me, and if I was a young person, I saw what was going on, I probably would have gone home and, I would have just like, that's my loss. Because sometimes in your mind, you get this intuitive thinking that says, I'm not supposed to be here. Something's wrong. And if you see this from early, it's only going to get worse because you're going to add in that they're selling beer and alcohol. There might be, people that are using drugs. You have no idea. But all these things in accumulation of things cause this to be worse. But again, it still goes back to personal responsibility for a lot of it. Dr. Evans, what do you think?
Yeah, I am. I'm still hurt. I've been hurt since just the beginning of this thing, and that's why I wanted us to come on from the PIC TV network from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia, to New York with Patty, so that we can express our love and our condolences to the families. Again, we covered so many topics, and I had to do this, and then it was in my heart. We here, we together. This is one of those things that we didn't expect to talk about, Patty, this year. But we have a responsibility as human beings, and loving human beings, productive people in society, and in the PIC TV network world, to talk about it. We're not going to just let somebody else talk about it. We want to express our feelings and our opinions on this situation, and our prayers goes out to the families who lost loved ones. Hey, folks, we're going to come right back right after this.
This is B-Mitch from the Washington football team. Congratulations to David Evans and the PIC TV network for showing positive TV programs on Roku with 60 channels. Let's help my brother David Evans and the PIC TV network continue to grow. Go to www.pictvnetwork.com. That's www.picnetwork.com.
Hey, hello, and happy holidays to everyone. Hey, I want to encourage you to watch and support the new PIC TV network. It's a military channel on Roku. All you have to do is click and play www.the-PIC TV network. And by the way, great job to David Evans, the president. Hey, man, I encourage you, go do it now. And with that, time's yours.
Happy holidays to the PIC TV network! Oh. Keep watching PIC TV on Roku and the website Click and Play, the PICTVnetwork.com.
Hello, everyone. Did you hear the good news? What good news? The PIC TV network is now airing on Roku all over the world. Whoa, that's so cool. Now you can watch the website www.thepictvnetwork.com. Is that the one with David Evans? Yeah, David Evans is the president. So let's support the PIC TV network. Yes. Sounds good.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the PIC TV network. We are so happy for all of you who are watching with us today, and our commercials that we have. We're so happy again for all of you who are here today. With Patty and Michelle and I, we just want to say thank you for your time. We got a lot going on, and we just want to take a moment to send our love and our prayers and condolences to the families everywhere. And it's a lot of families who are hurting too. It's a lot of families who feel hurt. Especially down in Houston, Texas, and they have families. And we wanted to send our prayers out. Any closing remarks that you have want to say today, Michelle, before we close this broadcast?
Well, Dr. Evans, it's with a heavy heart that we have to make these reports. But at the same time, we have to also remember we have around the world over 3 million people that have died of COVID. In the United States, over 700,000. Now we have a new tragedy. And every time we have these tragedies, they affect our mental health. So to everyone, we send our prayers, and we ask that you pray for everybody that's affected. And Dr. Evans, congratulations is in order for you. I hear that we're really close, or if we've made it to 1 million.
Yes.
And Patty, you're amazing. Miss you, Graham, doing a lot of good work. So to our family out here at the PIC TV Network, we love you and we support you. I'm Michelle, the computer lady. Dr. Evans, back to you.
Patty, any closing words tonight?
Make your mic hot, Patty.
Yes, I want to say also happy anniversary to the PIC TV Network. And I also want to give a closing prayer. Father God, please lift the hearts, all those who are suffering the loss of those who lost their lives, not only during this corona virus time, but also at this concert. May you please lift their hearts and may their legacies live on forever. Amen.
Amen. You know, that's what we do on the PIC TV Network, folks. We cover subjects such as reconnecting the generations, American health crisis, a series of that, food. We connect so many subjects we did, and this is one of those broadcasts that Patty and New York and Michelle from Atlanta, Washington, D.C. are all coming together in a ball of love to all of our brothers and sisters down in Houston, Texas, and the families there. We wanted to have we wanted to dedicate this broadcast to you guys from the PIC TV Network world, and we know with God that they're living on the other side, and we all are blessed to be here. The greatest prayer is thank you, and the greatest gift is life. And we want to say thank you again. And to our 1 million people, 1 million viewers around the world, we want to say hello, set the atmosphere again. And I want to say all these commercials popping up from Santa Claus and NBA and NFL. Want to say thank you. We want everybody to celebrate with us on Black Friday. It's going to be our global celebration. We're gonna beam it in from New York, and we're gonna dance. we're gonna have a good time virtually, of course. It's gonna be a wonderful celebration to Atlanta. We geared up and fired up, and we're excited for all of you. And I want to say we're gonna have special awards that night. You know, somebody's gonna get an award for the outstanding TV anchor woman and the outstanding TV anchor woman award. We got of 2021 over 20 shows. We're gonna honor some people. I can't say their names, but they're gonna be from Atlanta and they're gonna be from New York. Special awards. And I already went Christmas shopping for you guys, so get ready to open your gifts.
Oh.
Well, I only have one thing to add, Dr. Evans.
Yes.
Yours truly is the finalist for a Distinguished Authors Guild Award for my book.
Wow.
Mommy, What is an Entrepreneur?
Yes.
And so November 11th, we'll know if I won or not.
It's a done deal. Yeah.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Yeah. And we have the top 10, like Amazon bestsellers. We're doing the top 10 book authors of 2021. And somebody from New York, I'm not going to tell you, somebody from Atlanta, Georgia, I'm not going to tell you who's one of the top 10. I'm not going to tell you who the top 10 from Atlanta is. The best sellers for PIC TV Network. You're turning me around. Hey, guys, we have a good time. We're going to have a bloopers, and we're going to have a PIC TV Network after talk session with these ladies because they have a good time. So long, everybody. Happy holidays. Enjoy yourself and stay safe until next time. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Hey, what's up? It's Dexter McCluster here, former running back, here to congratulate David Evans and the PIC TV Network for showing positive TV programs on Roku. I almost ran out of breath, but I had to get it out, man, because that's good news, man. Over 60 free channels. Let's support David, man. David Evans and the PIC TV, and let's make them reach over, or help them reach over 1 million viewers, man. We can do it. We can do it. All you have to do is go on, click and play, man. www.thepictvnetwork.com. That is www.thepictvnetwork.com. And you heard it from Dexter McCluster, man. Let's get it. We're going to get to that million, man. If we don't, I'm coming for you.
Hey. Hey, 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 it's Kid from Kid and Play. Hey, everybody, this is your man, the KID, and this is big. I want everyone to download the PIC TV, PIC, PIC TV Network on your Roku search bar. Okay? My brother David Evans is growing PIC TV fans, and I want us to help my brother reach millions of followers. Millions. Click and play www.thepictvnetwork.com. That's www.thepictvnetwork.com. Come on now. Expand your mind. Expand your life. Huh? PIC TV Network. KID. Come on. Let your mind have a house party. Let go. Think about it. Think about it. You better think about it. Check the PicTVNetwork.com. Enjoy yourself. I'll see you at the top.
Thank you, everybody, for watching the PIC TV Network. We'll see you next time.
Shout out to PIC TV Network. Check them out. Black owned and operated. Let's support each other. I'm Zeke with the Universal